All right. I hope you guys are doing excellent. Here's Stein. I'm going over the Symphony desktop. Just getting started guide. This was a request from Kaiser. We are doing it in 4 parts. We've done the first part, which was basically talking about the outside or the external body, the things you see on the outside, including ports, the screen, everything about it. Okay. The second part, where we went inside the internal to look at the interface and all the screens and every single feature inside it. Okay. So you can get running, know how to record with it. Okay. And then the third part, which we are doing right now, is the application part of it. The application part of it is when we deal with the computer. Okay, so we're going to deal with that third. And then the final one we're going to deal with on another day is going to be the streaming. Okay, those that want to know how to stream with this device the right way, how to properly loop it back so it doesn't get complicated for you and you don't get no feedbacks or any glitches. Okay, so just so you fully understand it, how it works as a loopback or playback device as well. Okay, cool. So real quick, as you guys are seeing on my screen, last video when we were talking about the two, we were talking about this port right here, and we were saying that is basically the instrument port or the input. Okay, so the instrument input where we put a line, basically a microphone, a line or instrument cable in there. Okay, and I was saying in that it basically overrides one, but I was also saying it may be two. I just had to verify, so I wanted to verify for you. As you guys can see directly from the PDF, it overtakes two. Okay, so what that means is at the back, if you put something in two and you put something here, this is going to override two. Okay, so if you don't want any conflicts, just don't put anything in two and you'll be fine. Okay, or any kind of damages, just stay away from putting it in the front and in two. Okay, always make sure you're using either one and the front or one and two. That simple. Got it? Cool. So just to cover that, so you guys got that piece of information. Okay, and as you guys can see, mic, line, and instrument. Okay, that is what um, um, goes here. And as you guys can see at the back, as I said last time, this speaker sound stands for speaker, and this guitar sound stands for instrument. So there's a reason why this is first and this is second. The first meaning bring this here, and then the second meaning bring this here. So mic, instrument. So getting that, the practice of always putting your mics into this and sending your instruments into this, because they have really designed it to be that way. However, if you feel like you want to put your mic here, you can do that, because they both can do it all, as you guys can see. Okay, analog 1 and 2 can do it all. Okay, cool. So just by the way, to get that across. Now, I made mention that we went over video part 1, part 2, right? So if you don't know how to get to that, in case you wanted to, you look us up on YouTube by the name L4C Multimedia, or this channel. Okay, go inside our playlist. When you go inside our playlist, you should see an IT section. Okay, IT lessons. Just go ahead and play it. All right, and once you play it, this is part 2. Let's look at part 1 first. Okay, so part 1, which is this. Okay. So part 1. Okay, so probably you guys are not hearing this. Okay, and I'm gonna explain everything to you all very shortly. But in the application side, okay, maybe you guys can, maybe you guys can't, I don't know. Okay, so what I'm going to safely do is I'm going to go ahead and assign this to software 1 and 2. Okay, just so there's no problem of you guys not hearing, because then you guys are going to get playback in 1 and 2. Okay, so that's what that stands for, and I'll go ahead and explain that better. But anyways, here you guys can see the video of me teaching everything from 1. Okay, detailed is going to work as an XLR. Okay, so it's called combo jack because of that reason. Okay, I'm going to put it in. Okay, so I go through everything you need to know about the device when it comes to connection and everything on the outside. Okay, then I go inside. So I go inside and then I show you everything you need to know inside. Optical view, power out of the box, SDMP is your guy. Boom, boom. So the point is, this microphone represents an analog device, right? So this is your meter. Okay, as you guys can see, is good. So in that playlist, you can see other things. For example, when I did the unboxing, you can see that too. So it's right here. All right, if you want to see that, you can see that. If you wanted to know my first impression, you can see that also. Hear a lot of the. Let's hear how. Get very good referencing. Okay, cool. That's just me sharing my views on what I think about the device. Okay, cool. So that was just by the way, so you guys get a little bit of whatever you guys missed in case you don't know what is going on here. Okay, I'm going to keep this very short, nice, simple, and sweet. Okay, let's go back to the PDF. Okay, so we wanted to focus on this. So here's the thing. When we come to the application level, there are a few things we need to understand. But for the first application we got to understand is basically the Apogee control software that Apogee provides us with once you buy their device, okay, which is what I had open. Okay, so once you have it open, this section has some important settings that you need to keep an eye on, especially for setting up your projects to make sure things are matching the right way. Okay, so besides that, it's very simple. You have your 2 inputs analog. We talked about the speaker and we talked about the instrument, and you can see they actually represented it in here. So it checks with what I was saying, right? So we can see that in here. Okay, cool. So these 2 analog stands for the 2 combo jack inputs. Okay, so that's what that stands for. Okay, and we're not going to talk about any of these. We're not going to talk about the playbacks because that is going to be for the last part. And I kind of talked about this a little bit. That was just for you guys to hear, so we don't have any issues there. Okay, and the rest of it, the rest of it are basics. Okay, so we have our headphone 1, okay, which is the front headphone. We have the headphone 2, which is the back headphone, and of course we have our main monitor, okay, or our main mix or our stereo mix over here too. Okay, cool. So those are the basics you need to know about. Of course, if you wanted to go to mixer 2, you come to the left side and switch it to mixer 2 and back to mixer 1. Okay, cool. So those are kind of the basics you need to know. And then besides that, for example, if you wanted to switch input 1 to something else, this is where you would do it just like you do it on the device. So first things first, whatever you do on the device affects whatever everything that shows up in the software. It's the same way, whatever you do in the software affects whatever is on the device. So it works, it's linked together. Okay, it is real time, it's linked together. Okay, and also here you have your channel effects, okay, where you can come in here, deal with your preamp, you can deal with your print effects, you can deal with your monitor effects, and we are going to talk about that. So this is the main bulk of the software. Okay, the software gives you 3 capabilities. It gives you preamp capabilities, it gives you print FX capabilities, and it gives you monitor FX capabilities. And then there's something that is called dual path processing or dual path recording, however you want to put it. Okay, we're going to talk about that. There's no setting for that, but I'm going to explain what that is. Okay, cool. So let's close this out. It looks like it's minimized rather. So let's close this out for now. Cool. And let's come into a DAW. So when we go into a DAW, like for example, when we come on the software side, one of the things people are going to ask is, how do I set it up in my DAW? So for Studio One users, okay, In case you don't know what a DAW is, let's go. So if you go to Google and go to google.com and you type in music DAWs, all kinds of DAWs are going to come. Okay. It's going to come Ozone, RX9, Presonus, all kinds of DAWs are going to come. Mixpad, whatever you want to use, you can use. Okay. It's a lot. Ableton, all kinds, Acid, Neutron, whatever. Maybe you are so confused you wanted to know what is the best software to use. Okay, so maybe you can just type to see some generic things. Okay, so maybe best, not best DAW 2022, let's do that. Okay, and then maybe you can look at the list they're going to give you. I don't have time to go through different pages, but you see it tells you Cubase, Reason, Image Line, FL Loops, Fruity Loops. Okay, Reason, Reaper, Ableton, Avid. Okay, you can look at anything you want to look at. Okay, Avid, Logic Pro, Ableton, so on. Okay, there's going to be all kinds of suggestions, all kinds of opinions. It's up to you. You can decide to use whatever you want to use. You come in here, they got their own suggestions for you. Okay, Ableton Live. Okay, and so on. Okay, I don't want to really go through all this. Cool, so you guys get the idea. That was just to show you guys an example of what people are using as their digital audio workstations. Okay, that's what a DAW stands for, digital audio workstations, and basically it is just music that you record on computers, as simple as that. Okay, cool. So I open up Studio One. Okay, and here I see the setting of my Symphony, right? If I didn't have it connected, I'd have to click in here and go and configure it, or simply click configure audio devices. Okay, and go in here and select it. Okay, so I have it selected as my playback device and as my recording device. And the most important thing is to make sure you have your sample rate, or what Studio One calls block size, have that set up the right way. Okay, and it will help. The general rule here is this. Okay, if you are ever going to record, okay, you want to make sure you are recording at a lower at a lower block size for recordings, and you are mixing and mastering at a higher block size. Okay, it's up to you, whatever you want to use. Okay, I generally advise recording at 128, 256, or 512. Okay, if your system is strong enough to handle that. And I advise mastering and mixing at the same place you programmed, as it's not going to make much of a big difference, or 10, 24 at the very highest. Okay, I don't really think it's necessary to overpower your machine, but hey, it's up to you. Whatever you think your machine can handle, whatever you think helps make things feel easier, go for it. Okay, so anyways, I'm not going to use Studio One to teach. That was just, by the way, to just help people that may be using other DAWs to see that these settings are almost the same. I have Studio One here, I have Logic here, I have Main Stage here. Okay, I could go on and on, but let's go into Logic and see how we're going to work with Logic. Okay, so this is going to be very straightforward. Okay, so when you usually open Logic, it's going to look like this. Okay, so you might not see a setting, so you got to come to the details side, make sure you click on the arrow, then come in here to the input device, make sure you select Symphony Desktop, output device, Symphony Desktop. Make sure you have your sample rate selected the right way. And in Logic, it gives you frame rate. I advise keeping it at default, if anything 30, but please don't really go higher than that, and just do your best to just keep it as default. Okay, spatial audio, if you want to use Dolby Atmos, that's up to you. I don't mess with that, I don't care about that. Okay, and also surround format, you can decide to use whatever you want. Okay, and then you can create your project. Okay, so it's already on new empty project, so we're just going to go ahead and create it. Okay, so once we are in here, the question, don't worry about the extras that I'm doing. You don't need to know, because it is not the purpose of the lesson. The extras I'm doing is just for me to do the video. Okay, so don't worry about the extras I'm doing. I'm only going to teach you what concerns the video. Okay, I'm just basically picking up a few things to be able to make the points that I'm trying to make in this video. Okay, cool. All right. So the whole idea is um, Kaiser wants to know how to record with his device. You know how he can use a guitar and his voice, and so that's where we are kind of. That's the reason why you saw me do that. Anyways, let's just say you forgot the steps and you came into Logic and you're like, oh wow, I can't hear myself. Blah blah blah. How do I set myself up? How do I do my audio settings? Well, simply go to the Logic. Okay, go to Preferences. Go to Audio. Once you're in Audio, follow the same stuff we did in the beginning and get all that set up right. Okay. And I usually don't mess with the settings here, but you may need to do that for different situations. For example, maybe for mastering, mixing, okay, especially for something like the process buffer range, okay. You may need to make some tweaks there for certain things, but I usually don't mess with that. I usually have successful projects, no issues with my Mac Mini, okay. Cool. So that's what I'm using Mac Mini, by the way. So here, Kaiser, we have the project set up. We have our instruments laid out. So at this point, this, okay, let's switch it around, okay? So this, okay, here, we're going to call input 2, okay, which is going to be instrument or instrument, okay, which is input 2, okay? And this here, we are going to call input 1, which is our voice, okay? Cool. So with that said, all that this means is this. Let me go ahead and switch this over here. Okay, so all that we are saying here is this, okay? This input 1 represents the analog 1 on our device, okay? And this input 2 represents the analog 2 on our device, okay? You guys cannot see the mixer, but this analog 1 and this is analog 2, okay? Got it? So that's what that's all about. Okay, cool. So now that we have that set up, we are going to record something that that we can use to see if we're on the right track. Okay, you guys are going to realize a problem. Okay, realize something. Usually, people want to hear the effects of themselves, especially if the effects are loaded in Logic, right? And they are going to click this input monitoring. What do you think is going to happen if I click that input monitoring? Feedback, right? Okay, cool. If you don't know what feedback is, here we go. Hello? You guys heard that? Okay. Hello? Hello? You guys heard that? You don't want that. It's not going to help you. Okay. So this device is so powerful that it does a lot of things for you that you don't need to really mess with your DAW to do extra things. Okay. If you do things right and set up things right, you're not going to need to do a lot of extra things. All right. You're going to do the bare minimum just to get it in. It's very straightforward. Okay. Cool. So one of the things I'm going to tell you is this. Realize that I told you needed to hear the music, so I turned the software on. Well, that needs to be off every time you are dealing with anything that deals with your audio going in, especially a microphone. Okay? You see now I have it set off, okay, to none, okay? Again, I'm not going to talk too much about that until tomorrow, because tomorrow is really for not tomorrow, but the last part, which is going to be dealing with streaming. Okay, so now once I do that, I'm still going to hear it, but it's not going to be as bad. Okay, so you see, I still hear the feedback, but it's not as bad. It's a monitoring thing now, right? It's like a doubled voice, but you realize that when it wasn't like that, it sounded worse, right? Cool. So the idea here is whenever you are dealing with this device, you have to understand, what are you trying to get out of it? Are you trying to get playback out of it? Are you trying to get audio through it? You got to know how to work around it, or else you're always going to be struggling to use it, okay? So here, we have just a regular recording here, okay? We have a guitar that is in input 1. We have a voice. Sorry, we have a voice that is in input 1. We have a guitar that is in input 2. This is not really in input 2, but we are just using it as an example. This is a software instrument, but we are using it. We are using it as an example just to help our brother Kaiser. Okay, cool. So here we go. We're gonna record something. Okay, let me actually sync with it. I kind of got blank for a second because I didn't know what I was gonna do. But anyways, let's do something. Let's do some Christian song maybe. I'm a Christian guy, you know. There is a name I love to hear. I love to hear this name. It sounds like music in my ears. The sweetest name on earth. Okay, that's it. All right, we good. So now let's check how we did. How did we do? Not single wise, but what we are trying to accomplish. Let's hear our vocal audio input one. So one thing you guys are gonna realize is at this point, you guys are like, whoa, dude, I cannot hear. Remember what I told you. Depending on what you are doing, you're gonna have to need to use this device according to that, right? So what do you think that is? Okay. That means you need to come back here. You need to go ahead and set this to the software. So actually I'm gonna do it and I'm gonna show you guys something. You see, it's none right now. Watch this. I'm gonna actually play it and I'm gonna go here. So you guys see that it's playing fine over there, right? But sometimes you, the person hearing it in the secondary application, it's not hearing it the right way. Okay, so I'll always advise you just go ahead and select software 1 and 2, so we don't have any issues. Okay, so that is basically gonna activate the loopback, which is already activated, but you will need to do that if you want your audience to hear what you are doing. There is a name I love to hear. I love to hear this name. Okay, so that's how the one sounds like. It's good. Input 2. So it's playing very nice. Okay, working with this device is sweet. It's so nice. The converters are killers. Okay, it's good. There is a name I love to hear. I love to hear this name. It sounds like music in my ears. The sweetest name on earth. Okay. All right, cool. So you guys heard that. That was very good. And keep in mind, this is not a good microphone. Well, I'm not going to say it's not good. It's actually pretty good. It's an old wired microphone, and it's pretty good. What brand is this? PV Penny, whatever it is. You know, all right, PVI 100. Okay, so it's not a big brand. It's not like a Shure or anything like that. But you know, it sounds pretty good, right? Why did I touch it? All right, cool. We got it. We got it. We got it. Maybe not. Okay, cool. All right, cool. So that was just that, just to show you an example. So Keza, you know how to record now. Okay, let's move on. I'm going to delete my instrument track and it's going to be left with a 1 because we are going to be talking about that very soon. Before we do that, we are going to move over to our PDF. Okay, cool. So we are going to go to page 50. Page 50. Okay, let's go to page 50. Do I want to go through all this? Okay, we're almost there. Page 50. Page 50. Boom. Okay, and we are going to talk about a few things. Okay, we are going to talk about quite a few things. Okay, good. So you guys realize how we started the lesson, right? We were here. we came here and we talked about three important things, right? We talked about preamp, which is the channel FX. I told you the bulk of application is going to deal with this, right? Preamp, print FX, monitor FX. So now we're going to talk about what the heck is the difference with all these, and also the dual path, right? So basically 4 things, but really the dual path is kind of like the same thing as the print FX and the monitor FX combined, okay? So not a big thing. Okay, cool. So let's go through this. All right. Why am I in Logic? No, the PDF is what I want, not Logic. I kind of blanked out for a second. Okay, cool. Here. So we have the preamp, the print effects, the monitor effects. Read. It tells you what it does, okay? I'm not going to go through all that, but I'm going to tell you in my own language, okay? So right now, looking at the diagram, there's a person singing here. That is me talking, okay? There's a microphone. That is this microphone right here, okay? There's this preamp. This preamp is going to represent the Symphony desktop device or the audio interface, okay? Got it? The print effects, okay? The print FX is going to represent the process, okay? The process, okay? You have your interface. You are using a certain process to deliver something, okay? So that's going to represent the process, okay? And likewise, the monitor FX is also going to be a process, okay? That's also going to represent a process. So really, the 3 main important things is the subject, the item being used, right? The device the item is going into, and the process is the way it's being processed, okay? Really, that is it, okay? It's very simple, straightforward. So here's how print FX work, okay? So print FX works this way, okay? That means we are gonna print whatever effect we put onto our mixer into the DAW. It's that simple. We have the okay, right here, you see Symphony desktop. This is all of it, okay? We have the Symphony desktop. We applied a preamp. We applied an effect. We are sending both the preamp and the effect to the DAW, okay? And that is what the print effect stands for, okay? When we have it enabled and we have settings on it, what we are really telling it is, I want you to send my settings on the device to the DAW, okay? Meaning if I add some type of equalization, whatever I decided to add, okay, if you have the paid versions, okay, for the Puig Tech and the whatever is there, reverbs, whatever, is gonna go into the DAW, okay? And that's what that means, okay? Cool. So print effects is as simple as print my, so I call it this way, I really call it this way, copy and transfer, okay? I'm copying whatever is on here and I'm transferring it to the DAW, okay? And it's as simple as that. So print literally means copy and transfer in this situation. I'm just trying to let it make sense for you in a very simple way. Cool. So then we have the monitor effects, okay? The monitor effects is very simple, okay? So basically, it is basically saying whatever, just like I did with the print effects to get in here, I could do the monitor effects, okay? So I could send it to a direct mixer. For example, maybe to my headphone 1, to my headphone 2, or to my main, okay? You guys get the point? You are deciding to send it in a way to maybe mixer 1 or mixer 2, okay? Or however you want to send it, okay? You are routing it in a way, you are routing it so you can send it in a way that fits your need. Maybe all you want to do is send it to your headphone so you can hear. That's why the arrow is kind of showing you that example. So you can just monitor whatever is being sent in, right? I'm sending some type of effect in and I want it to play back in through the process back to me, okay? And that is what the monitor effect stands for, okay? So the simple way to look at it is this, okay? The print effects process, process is going to be just directly taking whatever we have on the Symphony desktop and sending it all to the DAW, okay? And the question somebody might ask is, well, do we have to commit? Or are we stuck with it? Okay, are we stuck with it? Do we have to commit, or we have some breathing room to bypass it? Okay, the good news is yes, you can bypass it. That is when the dual path processing comes in. Okay, the dual path capability, and I'm going to talk about that very shortly. But anyways, I hope you guys get the point. Print effects, you are printing the effects to the DAW. Monitor, you are sending it back so you can monitor it, okay? And that is all there is to that, okay? And now that I talked about that, let's talk about the dual path, okay? And you already understand what I meant by the dual path, right? So basically all that is saying is after I send all this to the DAW, if I'm not happy with the results, do I have to commit? Am I stuck with it? No, you're not stuck with it. You can actually have the effects on, pull it up in your DAW and decide, okay, I don't want it, and take it off, and you'll be back to normal like nothing happened with your recording. Why is that? Because your microphone here don't have any settings on it whatsoever. No equalization, nothing on it. It is all coming from this device, and this device is very versatile, and it gives you the flexibility of doing this. Not every device can do it. So this is why this device is one on its own. Not every device can do this, okay? So it allows you to basically decide whether you want to commit to your effects or not commit to your effects. And also, you are not stuck with having to use Apogee plugins. You can use whatever plugins you so wish to use, okay? Cool. You're not stuck with it. It's not like Universal Audio, okay? And with Universal Audio, you're not stuck with it either, but for the most part, it's advertised for you to have to use their plugins so you can get better results, okay? Cool. Not the case, so not so much the case with this Symphony desktop, but I have heard that if you do use some of the plugins Apogee provides, it helps. All right, so let's talk about the dual path, okay? So let's go ahead, dual path, okay? Dual path monitoring, okay? I keep calling it process, but dual path monitoring, okay? And you guys see it's giving you, okay, so all Symphony desktop innovation process work together to bring you the dual path monitoring workflow, the easiest way to achieve direct monitoring with plugins all from your DAW window, okay? So it tells you a few things about the dual monitoring. So you can go through the how do you call it, the PDF instructions and get a lot out of, okay? So really, like I told you, the dual path is really not a fourth thing. It's really associated with the monitor effects. That's why it's right here, okay? So again, we are going to do an example of it so you guys get a feel for it, okay? So all right, so let's go ahead and open Logic. Okay, well, not first. Here, let's start from here, okay? So this is what this means, okay? We are going to do an example of this, okay? So, okay, let's move this up here. Okay, I'm going to just take my mic down a little bit. Okay, I'm going to come here, okay, to the channel effects, okay? So here, I have a preamp. I can decide, okay, so everything I'm going to do here is actually going to apply to the audio interface at this point, okay? So I'm going to change the preamp if I want. Okay, now I sound different. If I want more volume, volume, no volume, volume, okay? So if I want another preamp, okay, I go for it, I go for it. Okay, so every preamp is going to give you a different taste. For me personally, I tell you, stay away from this last one. It's not a cleanest, okay? It might be for something else, maybe a guitar, but it's not a cleanest for vocals. It may be good for your vocal. However, I personally don't like it, okay? What I do like is the standard, which is this here out of the box, nice, flat, everything is good to go. Okay, cool. So go ahead and use that if you want. Okay, I think it's called um, SD SMP, whatever. Okay, cool. So that is the preamp. Okay, I have that selected. Here, the print effects, right? Remember I told you if we want to record into our DAW, we are going to use the print effects. What if I wanted to monitor it? Okay, that is where it stands out. Okay, so for example, if I wanted to monitor it out, I could go ahead and select it. Okay, now this is what you guys are going to realize. Because I have it selected here, it's also selected on my device. You guys can see it, it's right here, but whatever you're seeing on the screen, trust me, it's the same thing on the device, nothing different, okay? So if I delete it here, it's gonna delete on my device, okay? Watch this. I just wanna show you guys it's working this way. I'm actually gonna delete it from my device and watch it delete from here. Okay, I'm gonna delete it. You guys saw that? It's gone. Okay, I'm gonna add it. Watch. You guys saw that? So the point is it works with it, okay? So I have the monitor effect set if I wanted to use it this way. So here's the cool thing. Say I wanted more low, okay, more low, deeper. Okay, maybe a little bit high, maybe low, high. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, maybe a little cranked up a little bit. Okay, so something like this. See how it looks like. It looks very weird, right? Cool. So maybe this is what I want. Okay, let's see. Drive. That's gonna be bad. Bad. Okay, let's not do that. Okay, cool. So you see how my microphone sounds different all of a sudden? Okay, bypass. Okay, this is the dry. Okay, back with the channel strip. Okay. So it can be this, or it can go back to my normal. Okay, cool. So maybe this is what I want to record with. Okay, so in your DAW, this is what you're gonna do. So once you're in your DAW, okay, you're gonna open your inspector window or wherever you go to set up your audio. Since I'm recording with audio input 1, I missed this. I should have talked about it earlier, but make sure you select the right input, okay? So usually it's input 1 because I'm in input 1. Watch this. Because nothing is in input 2, if I click input 2, the meter is not going to be moving. Watch. Okay, I'm talking, okay, but no meter. I'm talking, but no meter is moving out. The only reason why you see it moving is this. I'm going to tell you what is going on. Okay. All right. So now you see it's not moving anymore, right? It's because I was looping it back, right? Remember that whole thing about the loop back, the loop back concept? Okay. I was looping it back. So meaning if I'm recording, I might not have the cleanest of sound, especially if I try to do any type of input monitoring, okay? So that's why you don't see it anymore, okay? But now if I go back to 1, okay, it comes back and you see it, okay? So it's very important you understand how this works, okay? So once I have the input 1 on and I have the right input selected, okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring up the Apogee, go to your audio units, go to Apogee and go to the Apogee channel effects or FX and open that up, okay? Once you open that up, it's gonna give you your monitor FX, okay? So once you have your monitor FX, all you gotta do is grab the channel. You see it's already it's already in the plus, right? That means it's ready to add. Once you click on whatever you want, it's gonna get loaded, okay? If you click on something that you don't own, it's going to give you an error message like this. Error message, okay? I don't own it, okay? So make sure you click on what you own or it's not going to be fun. Okay, so click on that because it's there for you. And watch this. Right now, it's all centered. However, in your application, they are not centered. They are treated with something, right? They are treated to sound like you hear me now. We went from this right here to this right here. Okay. So how come I look like this here and I look different here in Logic? Okay. It's very simple. Channel link. Okay. You're going to have to link it back to whatever analog or input you are dealing with. Okay. Right now, what input am I talking to you from? Is it input 1 or 2? Knowing that we have a 2-channel device. Input 1, correct. So I'm going to click that. The moment I click that, okay, it's going to link with the device, okay? And so now what's going to happen here is this. Now that I have that linked up, okay, anything that I do in Logic, okay, for example, say if I move the 1, it's going to move on my system, okay? It's actually moving on the device, okay? If I move the low, okay? If I move the high, it's actually going to move the high, okay? And this is how you know that, okay? Let me show you. Right now, my hands are not here. I'm actually here, right? You see one hand here, and one hand is going to be moving. So right now, I'm going to adjust the low. Watch. Low, 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 low. Okay? I'm going to I'm going to take it back a little bit. Adjust the high. Okay, high, 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 high. You see, it's actually reflecting. Okay, so we don't want to waste time. So let's just say this is what we wanted. This is the treatment we wanted, and we wanted to record with this. Okay, so now we have the voice. Let's record something. Hey, hey, yo, yo, hey, hey, yo, yo. Yeah, it's the Symphony desktop. Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, so let's just say that's where we recorded. Let's listen to how it sounds like. So remember, if we don't, depending on what you are hearing, you may not hear it. So for safety, we are going to go ahead and put the software on just so you can hear peacefully. Hey, hey, yo, yo, hey, hey, yo, yo. Yeah, it's the Symphony desktop. Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay. So you guys heard how that sounded like, right? If I was to bypass it, okay, here, I'm going to go ahead and bypass it and at the same time I'm going to keep bypass it and bring it back on, on, off, so you hear how it sounds and hear the difference. Hey, hey, yo, yo, hey, hey, yo, yo. Yeah, it's the Symphony desktop. Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, so it's a bit more brighter when I have it on and softer when I have it off, okay? Hey, hey, yo, yo, hey, hey, yo, yo. Yeah, it's the Symphony desk. So anyways, this is where dual path monitoring comes into place, okay? So it basically allows you to do these things at the same time I could hear it, okay? That is the whole key. Remember, if you are doing some things in your DAW, you got to do all kinds of routing and it just gets crazy, okay? This is done beautifully for you in a simple thing here, okay? And at the same, in a simple grid, however you want to call it, or rack, however you want to call it. You can even use this as a mixing rack if you wanted. Okay, you could put your EQ first if you want, or your compression first, then EQ, then whatever treatment you want, and then maybe do some additional things outside of it. Additional processing out of it, especially when it comes to bussing and stuff like that. Hey, you could use it this way. Okay, so it is very possible. So you guys see this? I record. Okay, I record. Hey, hey, yo, yo. If I'm not happy with the results, I don't have to get stuck with it. All I got to do is turn it off if I want, I could delete it if I want. I could turn it the whole rack off if I want, or I could simply remove it if I want. Okay, or on solo, or not on solo, turn it off if I want. Okay, very simple. So hear how I sound versus when it's off and on. Hey, hey, yo, yo, hey, hey, yo, yo. Yeah, it's the Symphony desktop. Yeah, 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 yeah. So you guys get a point. The point of dual path recording or processing or processing, yep, is when you do your monitor routing, okay, you have the ability to be able to monitor it first off, and also you have the ability to say, no, I do not want you. I'm not going to get stuck with you, demon. I am going to go back to my flat audio and start from there with my own EQ, compression, and blah 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 blah. Okay, and you can do it that way. Okay, so that is it. You guys get a point. So three main kind of four, but really three main important things you should be aware about once again. Okay, and we've talked about it over and over and over and over, and we're going to just repeat it for the last time. It's really, the first thing is your preamp, your second thing is your print FX, and your last thing is your multi FX. Okay, I'm sorry, I said multi monitor FX. Okay, cool. So preamp, print FX, monitor FX, okay? And then your dual path really works with the monitor FX, which is why when you open it in Logic, it allows you to only open it from the monitor FX view, okay? I guess you guys remember before, well, I could just take it off so you guys can see. Okay, let's go ahead and do it this way. No plugin, and let's start from scratch so it makes sense. So remember when we came in, it looked like this, right? It doesn't give us the print FX, right? Just monitor FX, okay? And then you gotta go ahead and do your own thing and all that, okay? If you want more highs, you add more highs, okay? More highs. If you feel like you need more highs, all right? If you feel like you need more bass, okay? It's up to you, okay? If you feel like you need less, you can go less, okay? So right now, um, that is kind of how you do that so you can hear all that, okay? So anyways, if you weren't hearing something right, it's just because maybe I may have missed coming back here to send it back, turn it on and off and all that. But if you hear it, then that's great. Okay. So that is everything you need to know about the application stage. Okay. The first things first is you need to understand how to connect it to your device and how it works. Okay. So that's one. Two, it could be that two, you need to understand the print effects, okay, which we've talked about over and over and over and over and over, okay. Do I even want to go back there? Okay, we've talked about the okay, these are the 60s. I need the 50s. 50s. Okay, cool. Okay, so this is like your main thing. Okay, this is like your main thing. Okay, this is the main thing we've covered. Okay, we've talked about the basic things you need to know about connecting it to your device. Then application wise, and processing wise, we talked about print FX. Okay, we talked about monitor FX, and then we talked about dual path recording, or what I keep saying, dual path processing. Okay, and that is it. And so these are the three main important things you need to understand how to go about with it. Okay, so in a situation that you're in Logic and you say, hey, I need to hear my effects and stuff like that. You will need to do different things to get that going. Okay, I don't want to get too much technical. I feel like that is just going to take a lot of time, but this is just a basic to just get you started and just help you get the basic fundamentals down. Again, make sure you are using what you own, or else you're going to keep getting error messages. Okay, so if you don't want error messages, go ahead and stay away from using whatever you don't own. Okay, and I wish Apogee would just make this free, because we made a big purchase. Add it to it. Okay, and stop being too I don't know if I want to call it sketchy, or too stingy with it. We paid some large amount, give it to us for free. Okay, cool. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this lesson. This is just the application part of the series. The last part we are going to cover is the loopback, okay? And I don't know if you understand how fun that is going to be, but it's going to be very fun, okay? What loopback is this. Let me show you an application version of loopback, okay? So an application version of loopback is this. Well, loopback in general is this, not the application of it. I just got I just lost my thoughts for a second. Okay, here. So here, when you are adding the device, okay, let's see what's going on here. We don't need you. So here, so you can say, I want to pick the sound from Logic, and at the same time, I want to pick the sound from Studio One if you want it. Okay. If you want it, I can say I want to pick a sound from maybe QuickTime. Okay, and I can loop it all in here. I can decide to send it to both, to just my left channel, or my left side, and I can send other things to my right side, or I can keep it nice and balanced stereo. Okay, by default, it maps it to it. Okay, so this is what we are going to be really dealing with the next time. Okay, and then at the same time, we are going to also talk about how we monitor it out, and you guys are going to see that through the whole entire process. Okay, so this is just an application version of that, which I'll talk more about in the streaming when we do go there. Okay, but for now, we are not going to worry about it. Okay, for now, we're not going to worry about it. Okay. All right, cool. We're not going to worry about it. Okay. So we will be dealing with that next time. Okay. I hope you guys have enjoyed the lesson. Again, this is a Symphony desktop tutorial helping people who are not aware about these, how to work with this device, or having issues, possibly find a solution with my teachings. Okay, so Kaiser, I hope this helps you a lot, and I hope you get the basic fundamentals. Next, we are going to be talking about streaming. That is when we are going to be talking about the routing. It's not that hard. It's pretty straightforward, and it's going to be literally me coming to select it, and that's about it. Okay, but you guys are going to understand how that really works, and how that impacts your system. Okay, well, I hope you guys have been blessed, guys. I know I took a lot of your time, but it is for your own good, so you can learn and stay on top of your skills and your craft. Okay, so I hope this has helped you, and I hope you found benefit in this video. If you enjoyed it, please make sure to subscribe just to support the channel, and as always, continue to share our videos and like our content, and we'll see you in our next video. Like I said, the last part is going to cover streaming. Okay, and so that is going to be dedicated to streaming, and so that is going to be the last and final part of this series for Kaiser, and everything will be done. Okay, and again, when you go on the channel, you could always go through the playlist and go to the section that says IT lessons. Okay, or the playlist that says IT lessons, and go there and get whatever video you wanted to watch, okay, or whatever you missed, whatever you want to refresh yourself on, it's all going to be there. Go there and get it done. Okay, well, guys, that'll do it. Until next time, you'll remain blessed. See you guys in the next video. Okay, all right, have a good one. Bye bye.